Hello, and welcome to a very special edition of Dash28 Live. Today we are bringing you the first round pairings announcements for the Sweaty Gigante Universal Battle Kings of War tournament happening tomorrow. That is going to be February 20th. Welcome, everyone, and especially I'd like to welcome Jesse Bilbia and Keith Conroy, who are the TOs of the event, and my friend Steve Forster, who's going to be running It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia coming up pretty soon on Universal Battle as well. So keep your eyes open for that. Thanks for joining me here, guys. All right, so let's dive right on into it. Keith and Jesse, tell me about this event.
Sure. So this event is a charity GT. It's a memorial and a celebration to the life of Jesse Cornwell, who needs no introduction, of course. Many of us got our start watching his Mastercrafted videos. And so in his honor and in his memory, we are doing the most gigantic, mammotheist, pizza-iest GT that we can run. So it'll be tomorrow, 3 rounds. We are accepting donations both before the event and during, which Mike will talk about a little bit during the pairings. It'll be at 1,800 points with a special character that Jesse is going to talk about.
Yeah, so in addition to your 1,800 point army, all the generals playing are going to be provided with a special mammoth monster, which is Pizza Jesus's personal Pope-mobile. So it's a standard mammoth profile. So speed 7, melee 4, defense 5, height 5, unit strength 1, dash 18 nerve with 12 attacks, coming with brutal, crushing strength 2, strider, and thunderous charge 2. And in addition to the standard profile, this unit is going to be giving a 6-inch Strider aura to all friendly units. It's going to count as a core unit within your list, so as a result, it's going to be affected by friendly auras, inspiring, rally, etc.
Fantastic. That's going to be a lot of fun. And as you guys said, this is going to be a charity event. You are accepting donations now, and I'm going to put up the addresses where people can send donations where they want to. And also, I'd like to announce that during this broadcast, any donations that are made that Keith can check the timestamp of, and it's while the broadcast was going on, Dash28 will be matching the donation. That's going to be for this broadcast and for the second and third round matches that we are broadcasting tomorrow. So if you haven't donated yet, send one in while we're on the air and we'll match it. And if you have and you just feel like hurting us a little bit, feel free to pull out your wallet and make all of our spouses mad at us.
P.S.
So again,
P.S. John Green Jr.
We have some wonderful prizes that have been donated. Some Mantic Games and Billy Smith will be donating a giant that will be painted. The official first Sweaty Gigante of this GT that will be sent to our first round winner. We have some an opportunity to get a full regiment 3D printed from a selection of thousands of Patreon models printed and sent to you. All shipping covers will be assumed, so don't worry about that, no matter where you are. If there's any Australians that are going to be up at 1 a.m. playing this GT, it'll still be shipped to you. We have wonderful Alex Cuse's wife gave some great crafts that I'm sort of jealous of. I really want them to put in my office that she's offering. And then finally, the largest single donation will be hosting their own episode of Countercharge, followed by the second highest single bid, the same for Unplugged Radio, which currently in the lead is the hosts from Unplugged Radio, who will be hosting a episode of Countercharge, which is going to be hysterical. And if you need a laugher, pick me up today, go check out the Facebook thread where they're talking about potential topics that Rob Phaneuf and Jake are going to be going over. It should be one for the ages. It's going to be really good. Yeah. It sounds like it.
Just a shout out to Eamon Linger for donating the 3D printed regiments for the tournament, which is great.
Yeah, we have awesome. Our first official donation of $100.
Wow.
We're 2 minutes into the broadcast.
Excellent.
I hope my
Actually-
battery on my phone doesn't run out.
Keep a running total for me. Put it on my tab. All right. All right. Now, so thanks for all that great info, guys, and thanks everybody for what is this? The smack talking has begun. Doesn't it sound like a boon to host counter? It seems like a punishment to me.
They haven't told you they're going to make you do the editing. That's the fine print.
Yeah.
Right. We talked for 4 hours. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you get to do now. All right. So let's start talking about the lists that we've that we've gotten here. So yeah, we've got 38 players. One who's
Yeah.
kind of a mystery guest, which we'll talk about when we get there. We have a really great international audience here, or excuse me, list of participants here. There's folks from, I see names from Spain, Argentina, Canada, the U.S., the U.K., folks from all over. It's really great to see so much international participation for it. I didn't do a country breakdown because I didn't have time, and I'm not entirely certain where everybody's from. But I do have an army breakdown for everybody. So out of these 37, I think we have 37 lists.
Yep.
We got 19 armies represented, and two of those armies, the top two of them, make up 27% of all the lists. That's going to be Ogres and Empire of Dust. I think it's super appropriate and wonderful that the most represented army is Ogres and that there are 7 of them. And I'm pretty sure some of the folks playing Ogres have probably never played Ogres before. They're just doing it in honor of Jesse. That is amazing. And Empire of Dust coming in second with 3. Every other army, there's only 2 or 1 of, so there's a lot of variety. Only 4 of the armies have allies. And in terms of the armies you won't see any goblins or herd, except I think maybe the Ringer list is a herd list. There's no Northern Alliance, which is a little weird. There's no Sylvan King, Ratkin Slaves, Trident Realm, which is also a little weird, or Twilight Kin. So a few in there that you're not terribly surprised about, but a few that you would expect in a field this size to see at least one. I would expect to have seen at least one Trident Realm and at least one Goblin list and at least one Northern Alliance list. Those are odd ones to be missing, in my opinion. Mileage may vary. So let's talk about what all is in these lists. So in terms of drops, the highest drop list is 15 drops and the lowest is 9, putting the average around 11 drops with a standard deviation of 1.28. So for those of us who have been out of school for long enough to forget how statistics and things like that works, that means that about 68% of all of the lists fall between basically 9 and 12. So if you're in that range, like that's where the bulk of the lists are, about 9 to 12 drops. And in terms of unit strength, the highest is a whopping 25 unit strength. Now, all these numbers are not counting the free mammoth. So basically add 1 to all of them. But 1,800 points, 25 unit strength, pretty good. And lowest is 13, coming in at an average of about 19. So if you've got about an 11 drop list with about 18, 19, or 20 unit strength, that's an average list. And again, there, the bulk of the list, 68% of the list, are going to fall between 16 and 21 or 22 unit strength. So that's what the field generally looks like. Now let's talk about what's actually in these lists. So first thing, there's not a lot of war engines. Most people seem to have left them at home. There's only 8 lists that have any war engines in them. And I think most of them aren't even in direct fire war machines. I think we saw more organ guns than anything else in the lists. And for the most part, you're only seeing 2, which means people aren't bringing more than 1 type of war engine if they're bringing any. Lightning Bolt, on the other hand, Lightning Bolt is super popular, unsurprisingly, these days. There's 16 lists that have Lightning Bolts, and that's 43% of the field. The most has 15 Lightning Bolts, and the least has 3 with an average of about 8. So in about half your games, you could expect to go up against someone that's got about 8 Lightning Bolts coming at you. Drain Life, something that we saw a lot of, I think, early in 3rd edition. Not all that prevalent, kind of right up there with War Machines in terms of there's not that many of them out there. Only about 7 lists have any Drain Life. The most, one list has 10, and I think most of the other lists only have like 5 or 6 or 7, putting the average at about 7. So, you might play one list that has some Drain Life, but not all that much. Heal, on the other hand, there's 17 lists that have some amount of heal, so that's about half the field. The most, one list has 14 heal, and one list all the way at the other end of the spectrum only has 2. So that's just one of those like one of the spellcasters I wanted came with heal, and I didn't swap it out for anything. But the average is about 6. So in about half your games, you'll probably be facing somebody that's got about 6 heal. Phalanx. So there's 7 lists that have Phalanx, which isn't a whole lot. One list has 4 Phalanx units. But the interesting thing there, and the reason there's a little star next to it, is that the 2 Force of Nature lists have the special character that gives the Phalanx aura, which means depending on how they deploy, they could have like 5 or 6 Phalanx units each. But again, like there's not a ton of them. So like if you're a Cav heavy army, you might get one bad matchup where you're going to run into a lot of Phalanx. But for the most part, it's pretty sparse. And Thick Chaff, which is going to be your cavalry troop, like your Rev Cav troop, or your large infantry or large cavalry regiments, particularly fearless ones that are like 150 points or less. We got about 10 lists that have some number of those. One list has 5 of them. That's an awful lot.
It's a lot of chaff.
And of course, it's a lot of Thick Chaff. And one list only has 1. So again, like you might run up against one list where you're dealing with a lot of thick boys there. All right, so the first scenario in round 1 is going to be push. And this is the map that we're going to be playing on. As you can see, you got a nice little cathedral to Pizza Jesus there in the bottom corner. You got a field, you got a pond, you got a couple of obstacles, a couple of forests, an impassable tower, and a couple of hills. Pretty much a standard terrain set. Anything we need to point out about the terrain?
No, it's all standard terrain. Height. For those not familiar, within the tournament pack, everything's there. All the maps are just slightly modified Epic Dwarf maps, so fairly standard for tournament play. We added a couple pieces of terrain here and there. I think in this one, in the middle, there's one extra wall. Aside from that, nothing crazy.
Sure. Considering how much Strider everybody's going to have, like more walls.
Terrain doesn't matter.
It doesn't
Walls
matter.
all over. Just put walls everywhere. It's fine. Cool. All right. So then, without further ado, let's start talking about the matchups. Then, so that's the summary info. And now we're going to go on to table 1. Table 1 is going to be Rashad. Let's see, Rashad Navidi versus Leopoldo Ezekiel Lipchak. Hopefully I'm pronouncing everybody's name correctly. I'll go ahead and read Rashad's list, and then I'll go down to Jesse for Leopoldo's. So Rashad is playing Ogres. Good for you.
Nice. Go Rashad.
Love it. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4 regiments of Red Goblin Rabble. He's got 2 hordes of boomers. He's got a horde of shooters. He's got 1 horde of warriors with crocodogs. He's got a horde of siege breakers and a giant, because you got to have a sweaty Gigante in there someplace. And he's got Nom Nom. So that comes in at 24 unit strength at a total drop number of 11. He's pretty close to the top in terms of unit strength, getting beat out by just one by somebody who we will see later. All right. And now, Jesse, do you want to go over Leopoldo's?
Yeah, for sure. So we have a Forces of Nature list. Starting out, he's got 1 regiment of Hunters of the Wild. No items there. 3 hordes of Forest Shamblers, also completely stock standard. Got a regiment of Woodland Critters for a little bit of chaff. A Beast of Nature with wings, because you have to. We got a Pegasus. A Druid with Conjurer's Staff, coming with Bane Chant and Surge 4. Gladewalker Druid with Blizzard 2, I like that. And Hex 3. Got some flex options for that caster. Tree Herder becoming the Wiltfather, because yes. And Kapoka, just to absolutely ruin all the Cav heavy lists in this tournament.
Yep. Those poor Cav heavy ogres that he's playing against.
Yeah, not this one, but
not this one. Other rounds.
Yeah, spoilers. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, so this is one of those lists that, like, depending on deployment, could have like 6 Phalanx units, but it's not really going to matter in this matchup.
Now in this one,
Yeah,
I really like how both these lists did not take items.
Yeah,
there's a couple spells, but like this is let's take our units and let's bash them against each other. Yep. I probably would like to see, I don't know, I've tried using Gladewalker Druids so many times and they just get extremely pricey. But, hopefully he'll prove me wrong with this. Hex 3 will definitely come in useful against ogres if he can get Nom, and then poor Nom takes a ton of damage when he's boosted by hordes. But I like both of these lists a lot. This is going to be a great matchup.
Yeah, I've played both. Well, I haven't played Rashad, but I've played Leo a couple of times, and he's run this, whatever points level it is, it's run something like this, so he's really familiar with it. The one thing I did notice about Rashad's list is that his only source of inspiring is Namagrak, but I think with ogres you could probably get away with it because he's got the bodies with the goblins, just meat shield, and then the rest of his ogres are just hordes that are punching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the only thing that gets sketchy with that lack of inspiring is those 15, 17 bodies. And no waiver mitigation there. But I don't know. It's going to be a great match. The ogres coming in with a little bit more shooting potential is going to be interesting, especially with all that goblin trash to screen. It's going to be interesting.
As a quick aside, we are now up to 165 total donations.
Excellent.
And we're on the first match. So
keep it coming.
Keep it coming.
Keep it coming, folks. All right, great. So this is going to be a great match. I'm going to go with Rashad because I think I'm just going to go on autopilot and vote for all the ogre lists. What do you think, Keith?
I'm going to go with the forces of nature on this one. I think that being able to scout up and get those ogres engaged early, he's got enough counter punch in there that's going to make a difference.
Cool. Jesse, what do you think?
I think the ogres are going to edge it out for me here. Just the additional shooting and the fact that they have a little bit more CS across the board is going to help the grind.
Yep, I can see that. Steve, what do you think?
I'm going to go with Leo and Forces of Nature. Sorry, Rashad.
Right. Split juries are great.
Okay.
I love it when that happens. Okay, so that is round one. Excuse me, that's table one. So now let's move on to table two, which is going to be Robert Sherwing versus John Green Jr. Keith, would you like to read Robert's list?
Sure. So we have in his list 2 regiments of skeleton warriors, 2 troops of skeleton archer cavalry, 2 hordes of enslaved guardians, one with the Aegis of the Elohi and one with Wind Blast. So automatically you have to root for this list. A horde again of enslaved guardians with Wind Blast and Han's Sanguinary Scripture. This whole list is just a tongue twister. 2 hordes of enslaved guardian archers, Idol of Shobik because he comes preloaded, and Sebek Rai the Accursed. Interesting. Okay.
All right.
Also pretty standard in Empire Dust lists.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
That guy is almost an auto include now.
You got to put all the uniques in there.
You do. It's what makes them tick. All right, and now, Steve, you want to read John Green's list?
Sure. John is bringing 3 troops of gargoyles, as you do.
Yep.
Looks like 3 hordes of abyssal grotesques, 1 with Chalice of Wrath, 1 with the Staying Stone, and 1 with Dwarvenail, 2 Carthusian rocket launchers, looks like 2 Abyssal Half-Breed champions with a Braid of Slashing, 1 with Mason Crushing, and then an Overmaster Ancient Winged Half-Breed with a Heal Brew. So a total of 11 unit strength and is that 13 unit strength?
13.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
At 13 unit strength. Johnny's bringing up the rear with the unit strength, but it's a very compact, very punchy Abyssal Dwarf list.
Don't need a ton of unit strength if you just kill all of the other units.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what unit strength is if your opponent's dead.
Great strategy.
And respect for playing Abyssal Dwarves and bringing the rocket launchers and not the heavy mortars.
Yeah,
good for you.
I've never seen them on table.
You're a good person, John. You can stay.
All right.
Okay, so what do I think here? All right, so we've got grotesques with all the waiver mitigation.
Yep.
Versus stuff that just doesn't want to die and will shoot at you.
I'm gonna have to go with the Empire of Dust here. I think that having your 3 major hammers hitting on 4s, even with the great waiver mitigation, I just think that Empire of Dust can take that charge and then give an even more vicious counter charge with the healing, the Iron Resolve and the healing that they get and the Surge. I love Grotesques, and I really like how he gave them waiver mitigation, but I think I'd like to see at least one of them with some kind of item that ups their combat potential, because we all know what it's like when your hammers hit on 4s,
Right.
and how they'll let you down.
You can't plan at all.
Nope.
And also with Grotesque, I mean, they're height 4, so they're not hiding anywhere.
Mhm.
And they also, if you're not breaking something, they're just, they're crushing strength 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's
a good point. Yeah, he doesn't have any Bane Chant or anything.
There's no Bane Chant, so they're fours, and hitting on 4s with Crusher Strike run, that's not going to grind very well. So hopefully, you got to get them unhindered charges that then pop whatever they're playing at. They're hitting, but
interesting.
I don't know.
Cool.
The half-breed champs can definitely help push some of those combats, though. They hit very hard for their points. The one benefit that Empire is going to have here, because they're going to lose the alpha battle, Abyssal Dwarves are outranging the majority of the charges here, is that Wind Blast is going to allow him to potentially stagger the initial charges to his benefit, which will be interesting. It's a tough one. I think I'm still going to lean towards the Abyssal Dwarf list here myself.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the Empire of Dust, if only for the fact that they didn't take the Soul Snare. So if Chris DeGrow is watching, Chris, it's possible to not take it. Please, in our next game, don't take the Soul Snare. It just does terrible things.
After talking smack about Johnny's list, I'm gonna go with him. I'm gonna go with the Abyssal Dwarves.
Interesting. Okay, and I think I like the Empire of Dust list, but I think I'm also going to go with John's Abyssal Dwarf list, because I know he's been playing Abyssal Dwarves for a while, and anytime somebody brings Abyssal Dwarves and doesn't bring heavy mortars, I feel like I want them to do better, so they'll all stop taking them. That's so this is a vote in favor of where I want to see the meta go, as much as anything else. All right, so that brings us to Keith thinking it's going to go one way and the rest of us thinking this one's going to go the other. So we can move on now to table number 3, which is going to be table 3. We have Robert James versus Bob Asplund. All right.
Yes.
Yes.
I remember this list.
This is a matchup.
Oh.
Yeah.
Where's Kevin Spear?
So
Where is he?
So I think, we're back to me. Okay, so, right. So Robert is bringing Order of the Brother Mark, and he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 regiments of Order of the Abyssal Hunt. None of them have items because they've already got a long enough list of special rules. Then he's got an Exemplar Paladin mounted, because of course you'd mount him, with the Gauntlet. What does the Gauntlet do? Does it give him Duelist or something?
Duelist, yeah.
Yeah, cool. And then he's got an Exemplar Paladin with the Wings of Honey Maze and also with the Gauntlet. So he's got a flying dude with with Duelist. And then he's got an Exemplar Hunter with Blade of the Beastlayer. He really hates monsters. Jesus.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
It's like there's going to be one in every list.
He's coming for your mammoths, people.
Yeah, your mammoth's going to get gacked.
Hide
Hide
your
your
mammoths.
mammoth. Hide your mammoth, hide your giant. Here he comes.
Hide your kids. We are now up to $185. We just received another $20 donation.
Yeah, that's what
All
I'm
right.
talking about. And this only 9 drops in this one. I think this might be the low drop
Yeah, this is
list
Yeah.
in the tournament.
I mean,
It is. There's
6 of our half.
Yeah, there's one other list that only has 9 drops. So this one's tied for least drops.
God, I love these armies so far.
Yeah, they're great.
It's great.
And like,
Hilarious.
just keep in mind that almost all of these knights are probably going to end up with Strider. So
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
If they don't get confused and turn around and decide to kill their own mammoth, because that's what they're here for. Like, we're here to kill mammoths,
Yeah.
all of them. All right, so let's check out what it's going to be playing. This is going to be one massive cavalry battle.
God, this is going to be amazing.
so I take
So,
your
Jesse.
Exemplar Hunters and raise you a shit ton of free dwarf rock riders. So
Oh my god,
this is
this is going to be
phenomenal.
awesome.
Yeah, this is.
I swear this was
fun.
random too.
How'd you guys finish your game in 20 minutes?
Uh,
All right, so we've got 4 troops of Brock Riders, and then 3 regiments, 1 with Fire Oil, 1 with Boots of Striding, and 1 with Potion of the Caterpillar. We then have 2 Mastiff Hunting Packs, 1 with the Scrying Gem, which is going to be massive in this matchup, and a second 1 stock standard, a Berserker Lord with Wings of Honey Maze, a Berserker Lord with Blade of the Beast Slayer, and we've got the named Brock Rider for the final drop, coming with 12 units and unit strength 16.
Yep. I would also like to throw out that this one is there's like a 4-way tie for favorite
Yeah.
listeners. Dime Store Dan King with all the free dwarves is wonderful. Bless you, Bob. That's fantastic.
I'm starting. Wonderful.
Oh, my
Shade
God.
Troll.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Where do you start with this?
Who gets
Who's
turn
going
one?
first?
Yeah,
Whoever goes first
exactly.
wins.
Who wants to charge in first?
Yeah. And they're playing push, so
Yeah.
that just adds a whole wrinkle to this where you just
So there's going to be 2 mammoths holding 3 tokens
Yeah.
each.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hiding behind a whole ton of cavalry that's trying to inch their way forward. Do any of them have any Bane chant? No, it's just going to be a straight
nope, it's
grind.
just it's just dudes.
Oh God, I love this. It's just so wonderful.
I
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
I love the fact that the Scrying Gem has the potential to make his opponent drop almost half his army.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's right.
That's what I mean.
That's absolutely right.
It's like 9 drops. Oh my god.
Wow.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna go with. I think I'm gonna go with the dwarves, and the reason I'm gonna go with the dwarves is because he's got troops of Brock Riders, so he technically has thick chaff units, whereas the other army, Robert's army, doesn't have really much in the way of chaff and all. It's just all cav regiments. So I think Bob's gonna be able to piece trade a little more efficiently than Robert will. And other than that, I have no idea what's going to happen.
I mean, the other benefit is that he is going to have the wild charge, right?
Right.
Sure.
Yeah, so that slight range bump is going to help dictate a little bit of the alpha. I mean, it's not going to be able to fit on everything, but I guess you could declare charges, then move and declare charges. So, I mean, it could get interesting. I think I'm going to slightly give it to the dwarfs, but this one is like on a knife's edge for me.
I'm gonna also give it to the dwarves. I feel like they have a little bit more potential in the grind than the Brother Mark would, just by nature of having more attacks and vicious.
Yeah, I'm on the dwarves too, just because, like Mike said, I think he'll be able to piece trade a little bit better with having troops, and he actually has something that can tote a push token with the dog packs, and having with Robert only having 9 drops, you can pretty much just hide the dog packs, and they can scurry across. So yeah, I'm gonna give it to the dwarves.
All right. So that is our first clean sweep. So we'll either all be right or all be wrong. We'll find out. Turn in tomorrow. All right. So moving on to table 4. On table 4, we're going to have, so this is actually a challenge match. It's going to be Alex Coos versus Mike Zettelmeyer. And I think they might actually be playing tonight. So if you're not doing anything
They're
tonight,
playing tonight.
I'll be watching that and heckling to the best of my ability.
yeah,
Yep.
jump in. We're not going to be broadcasting that because I have other things to do. Sorry. But okay. So Keith, would you like to read Alex's League of Rordia list?
So we are starting off with a regiment of halfling braves, 2 troops of mounted scouts, both with short bows, not the hand cannons, 2 hordes of honor guard, one with the Brew of Sharpness, one with the Blessing of the Gods, because screw you, whatever that hits. One Duke on Ancient Winged Aralez with Staying Stone. One Army Standard with the Loot of Insatiable Darkness. And let's pause for a moment. Is this our first Bane Chant?
I think it is.
I think this is our first.
Yeah,
Bane.
that's our first.
Alex
first
Hughes, look at you, you dirty son of a bitch, bringing Bane Chant in an army. God, just the worst. Two wizards, both mounted on Pegasus, one with the boomstick, the other with Conjurer Staff, both have Lightning Bolt, blah, blah, blah. The Dogs of War with Indomitable Will, and the Battle Shrine. So, also the Honor Guard both have Indomitable Will as well. Wow, this is a great list.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really good.
And I would like to point out this one draws the Ride the Lightning superlative for having the most lightning bolts in the tournament at 15. So good job, you cheesy bastard.
Yep.
More lightning than everybody else.
You owe us a $15 donation for each point of lightning bolt you spent.
All right, and over to Mike Zettelmeyer, who's bringing some ogres. Steve, you want to read Mike's?
So Mike is bringing a Hunter Horde with the Dwarven Ale, 2 regiments of Berserker Braves, well, a regiment of Berserker Braves and a horde of Berserker Braves, 2 hordes of Siege Breakers, one with Chalice of Wrath, one with Staying Stone, an Ogre Warlock with Drain Life 5, an Ogre Warlord as he comes, Namagarok, because that's what you do when you play Ogres, and he has some Night Stalker allies, which is a regiment of Doppelgangers, and a Shade, for a grand total of 10 drops and 20 unit strength.
Yeah. That's such a good ally package.
It really is. It's the Mike S special. They do work. I played against them and called the arms, and this list is just, it does work. Those regiments of Berserkers are awesome. You know, now that Butchers have been a little bit more, downgraded a little bit, they are now the thick chaff. Just the amount of attacks, the fact that they don't bend very easy. You can take them as allies in any army. Regiments of Berserkers are wonderful. I'm curious about the Ogre Warlord. I haven't seen that in the list. He hasn't played.
This is. I played a couple of test games with him, and this is different from what I've played. I mean, basically it's the same with the Night Stalker allies, but the Ogre Warlord is something new. I mean, he's no slouch. He's nimble, unit strength, which is always a plus, and just having an extra 7 attacks with crushing strength too. It's a solid list.
What do you think, Mike?
I think both these guys are really good players, and these are armies that they're both really comfortable with. I think I got to go with Mike Zettelmeyer because Mid-Atlantic.
Good reason. We know Jesse's vote now.
Voting for the home team, right?
Yeah, in that spirit, I guess I'll go with Alex. We'll see if he goes 2-0 here.
I'm going to go with Alex. Mike is really good with his list, but Alex is. I just purely for range, even though that Alex doesn't have the volley guns that he would normally take, the fact that he's got so much lightning and the honor guard, which outrange and hit super hard, I think that he has the advantage in this one. But it's gonna be a great game. This will be a lot of fun to watch tonight.
The Dogs of War just don't die.
Yeah, no, they don't. No, nope.
It's just a unit that you look at and you go, no.
Right?
Yep.
Let's take Revenants and let's give them Ensnare.
Right.
Yep. And Phalanx.
And Phalanx.
Yep.
What do you think, Steve?
So my heart's telling me Mike because Mid-Atlantic, and my mind's telling me Alex. So I'm going to go with my heart and just say Mike.
All right.
Okay.
2-2. Love seeing split juries like that. All right. So let's move on now to table 5. And table 5 is going to be Dylan Schreibner. My apologies. That's how you pronounce your name. Versus Corey Walliser.
Oh, yes. I
this
remember
one.
this one.
This one is great.
So,
Corey is in for a treat.
so we're back around to me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, right. This one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have one unit I just love.
So this one gets the thickest boys superlative for bringing the most thick chaff here, and you can see why right there on the screen immediately. So so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 regiments of tyrants and 2 hordes of tyrants, both with effigy of fire, one with brew of haste and one with meat of madness. That's on top of their wild charge D3. Some Ember Sprites, a couple of Lycilodons, and a couple of Battle Captains on Rhinosaur. So it's 12 drops and 21 unit strength, and just Tyrants on top of Tyrants on top of Tyrants. It's going to be fun. All right, and
madness.
Corey's right. Beat of Madness
crazy.
on top of something that's already got Wild Charge D3. That's
Good.
cool.
So we've got
all right.
Sweaty Orcs from Corey. Starting up, you got a troop of Morax, 1 regiment of Morax with no upgrades, and then 2 regiments of Morax, both with the Orcish Skull Pole. Coming up next, we've got a horde of Long Axe, a horde of Great Axe, a regiment of Orklings, a War Drum because you need it, a Crudger on Wing Slasher, and then rounding it out, we've got the God Speaker with a Conjure Staff, Bane Chant 2, and Heal 2, and Morax Mansplitter, rounding out with 11 units and 21 unit strength.
The man splitter will never cease to be funny whenever you say it.
Yeah,
Yes.
actually,
Yeah,
Mm,
it's going to be interesting.
yeah,
it's going to be a good one. I'm going to go with Corey on this one. Not only because Northeast represent, and he's a fantastic human being who's also a wonderful cook, but I think that he has the unit strength and the hordes that can absorb the punch. He's also going to be really happy he brought that winged slasher toucher because it gives him something to outrange and to keep those really fast tyrants out of away and out of charge range while he gets the rest of his stuff in position. Because it's push, I see the orcs as having better token carriers. That's my thought on that.
I don't know if there'll be any token carriers left, though, against that.
yeah, it's just going to be
Being honest,
dead bodies.
I think it's just going to be a bloody mist.
Mm-hmm.
I really like Corey's list too. I think the Long Axe could take a hit, and he's got like Keith said, he's got the Wing Slasher just for some range. But there's really, it's just going to be here's a line, we're going to meet here and kick the shit out of each other. So, but yeah, I'm going to go with Corey.
Oh, another $10 donation. We're up to $195.
Love it.
All right, everyone listening, keep them coming. You guys are doing great. Even throw in random amounts just so I can interrupt the cast to announce them.
Yeah, I'm going to give it. I think I'm going to go with the Salamanders for this one. It's hitting on 4s, but you're throwing so many 4s.
All right, you go with Dylan. Okay. I don't know. Because, I don't want to call Dylan's list one-dimensional, but... Because he's got some Ember Sprites. And he's got a couple of battle captains to try to catch some flanks. But I feel like Corey's just got more tools that are better suited to more purposes, and he's got a war drum that he can just park the tokens on, and it can slowly trudge across the field. I don't really know what over here you put your tokens on except a horde of tyrants.
I wish you brought more Ember Sprites. They're top 3 chaff in the game. They're so good for their points.
Really good.
Yeah, they're really good. I think I'm going to go with Corey. I think Corey's going to figure out how to outlast this and pick it apart. Having a little bit more of a toolbox. Which is funny calling an orc list a toolbox list, but
right.
Very versatile.
Yeah. It can kill you with weapons in 2 hands. It can kill you with a really long weapon. Okay, so that's going to be 1 for Dylan and 3 for Corey. We will see how that one turns out, and that'll bring us over to table 6. Table 6, we're going to have Justin Berg versus Zach Chapp. So this is going to be another one of those. I got to throw out, favorite list name tie, part of the like 5 or 6 way tie for favorite list names. And Keith, do you want to read Justin Salamander list?
Sounds good. So we got salamanders again. We have 2 hordes of primes, the Flat Earth Fanatics and the Clandestine Cloners. So lizard people are real. Wake up, Justin Berg. 2 troops of ancients, the Interbreeding Idolators. I've had to announce all of the tongue twister lists. I feel like I was set up here. More conspiracies. Custom name Fourth Dimension Dwellers. There are 3 regiments of Corsairs, the Belligerent Blood Drinkers, the Global Warming Goobers, and the Deep State Darlings. There are 2 regiments of Scorchwings, the False Flag Operatives and the Moon Landing Fakers. 2 Lacheladons, Bill Clinton.
Come on.
There's a battle captain whose custom name is Bill Gates, so he can read your mind and put nano chips into you. And then there's Firebrand, who's the Queen Elizabeth, of course.
Because of course.
Awesome.
Because why not? Because why not?
Good night. Okay. Yeah, love it. Good stuff there. All right, and now over to Zach's Ratkin.
All right, so Zach's bringing Ratkin, the pizza delivery rats. He's got a horde of warriors with the plague bats, 2 regiments of shock troops, lock, stock, and barrel. Was that 3 regiments of hack paws, 2 weapon teams, a night terror with the inspiring talisman, the brute enforcer with the sacred horn. Might be a typo. And
I
then a
think
tangle.
he thinks that applies to the rallying, and I don't think it
Yeah,
does.
I don't think it. Yeah. Tangle, and then everyone's friend, Skudzlik, the demon spawn of Dew, or Scud the Bud, or Scud the Stud. For a total of 12 units and 22 unit strength.
It's a good matchup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 2 well-rounded lists.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the lizard people are real. Wake up. Not only because they have incredibly clever names, but there's a lot of shooting in that list.
It's a lot of shots.
A lot of shots, which is surprising. Then you get to that, like, oh, things move up and you can have shots pretty early on, and Firebrand is awesome with the synergy. And then even if you make it through all that shooting, there are 2 hordes of Salamander Primes that are great for holding these tokens. I think this is a scenario-wise, this is a great leg up for the Salamanders. So I'm going to go with them.
Yeah, I like the Ratkin list. Well, in a vacuum, I like the Ratkin list better. But in this matchup with this scenario, I'm going to go with the lizard people are real. Wake up, sheeple. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I think the Salamanders edge this one out just with the shooting, and then once they hit combat, the majority of their shooting hits just as hard there. So it's lizard people for me.
All right. I think we're all going to take whichever pill it is that wakes you up. I can't remember which one is which, but we're all taking that one.
Just to see.
Yeah, we're taking them both. So I think we're all going for Justin. Yeah, I think the lizard person list will do okay against this Ratkin list in this scenario. I think it'll be a fun match, but I think
it's gonna be a wonderful match.
I think Justin will edge him out here. All right, so that's a clean sweep. I think that's only our second clean sweep, though.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. All right, so let's move on to table 7. This is going to be Pablo Bedart versus Matt Vermirion. Hopefully I pronounced everybody's name correctly. Apologies if not. All right, so let's take a look at Pablo's Pizza Jesus and the Boys, another ogre list. We back around to me?
Yeah.
Back around.
Okay. Cool. All right, so this is Pablo's list. Did I write any notes about Pablo's list? I did. Yes. I think he have that. Oh, I forgot to make a banner for it. This is a list with more drain life than anybody else in the tournament at 10. So it's an ogre list. So he's got 2 regiments of Red Goblin Rabble and 1 horde of Red Goblin Rabble. He's got a troop of Red Goblin Scouts, which are great for scenario play, not necessarily great for push, but will definitely come in handy in later rounds. He's got a regiment of Siege Breakers, and then 3 hordes of Siege Breakers. One of them has a Chalice of Wrath, one of them has Dwarven Ale. He's got 2 Red Goblin Blasters, and then here come the Warlocks, one with Inspiring Talisman, the other with Conjurer's Staff, both with Drain Life 5. They also come with Lightning Bolt, and then Nom Nom, bringing in some more Lightning Bolt and some heal and a Bane Chant. It's 13 drops for 24 unit strength, which is again 1 short of the top unit strength in the tournament. All right.
We are up to $215 on the cast. Just got another $20 donation.
Incredible.
Love it.
All right, so we got another one of my local club. Matt's Sweaty Orcs are coming in here. So we've got 2 troops of Morax, followed by 4 regiments of Morax, 2 regiments of Young Axe, 1 with the Staying Stone, 2 War Drums, because when you want to make Morax semi-thick chaff, just throw a couple of those in there. Got the Crudger with Pipes of Terror and the Bloody Banner upgrade. We've got 2 God Speakers, 1 with Bane Chant 2 and Drain Life 4, who is mounted on a Gore.
Taking Bane Chant, man. Who does that?
And then a second source of Bane Chant with the Conjurer's Staff and Drain Life 4, also on a Gore. And for the final drop, we've got Alpgar the Mad. So 14 units, unit strength 22. Yeah, this list hits like a truck as well.
I love this orc list.
Yeah. And Matt's been playing orcs for a while and has gotten
Yeah, he has.
with them. Yeah, and there's little to no waiver possibility across the board. Everything's coming in with Wild Charge D3 +1 for the Morax side. It's interesting. It's going to hit hard.
Both units hit, like you said, hit like a truck. Pablo has a little bit more staying power because of the
Drain Life.
The Drain Life, and Siege Breakers are defense 6 in the front. So, but I mean, and with both of the lists, if you start taking off 1 unit, then it's kind of a cascade effect.
Yeah, the one thing you want to see, this orc list, there's no Cudgers. Everyone, seems to have 1 to 3 of the mounted Cudgers, and that would be amazing, hitting into the side of the Warlocks and shutting down Drain Life into a pivotal combat. But, I mean, more scoring units, you can't argue with that, but I feel like this matchup, that would have been amazing just to have those to shut down Drain Life and the rest of the stuff. Yeah. I don't like regiments of Siege Breakers, though. 12-14 is way too low.
Yeah, that one scares me a bit. This one's going to be close. It's really going to be who gets off first and who survive. If the Siege Breakers survive the initial charge, it's going to be interesting because then the Drain Life hits and the grind starts in his favor. But if you lose a horde of Siege Breakers early there, it's going to be an uphill battle. It's a lot of units to remove from the orc side too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they got Bane Chant behind them and
Rally 2.
And Rally 2. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna go with Pablo because it's an orc list. Excuse me, it's an ogre list, and I'm voting for all the ogre lists. But I think the orcs might actually grind better than this ogre list with the rallying and with the Bane Chants and the Drain Life.
I'm gonna go with the orcs on this one. I think that having that many drops, he can split his army up better, so he knows he can get his push token aside and then, fight for the one in the middle or deal with the ogres. The ogre one's just going to have to bunch up a little bit, and I think that gives them a bit of a disadvantage. But it's going to be a great game to watch, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game.
I'm going to go with the ogres because, I just... Yeah, I'm going to be with Mike and just vote for the ogres in this one because it's just really a coin flip. So if it comes to a coin flip, I'm just going to go with the ogres.
Just to balance out the cast, I'll go with the orcs then.
Nice.
All right. Got to go with the local guy.
Yeah, gotta go with the Hummer.
No
Mhm.
inherent bias here.
Nope, none. Just confirmation bias.
Perfect. Perfectly normal. Nothing to see here. All right, so that is going to bring us to table number 8. And on table 8, we're going to have Jesse White versus Elliot Moorish. So let's bring up Jesse White's list. And Keith.
All right. Just finding it on the list. Here we go. Insert your mummy joke here. More Empire of Dust. We're starting off with a regiment of skeleton warriors, 3 regiments of mummies, a troop of revenant cav, a horde of enslaved guardians with Han sanguinary scripture, bleh, soul snare, of course, the Immunite pharaoh on royal chariot, and a Immunite pharaoh with the eternal guard elite aura, and the idol of Shobek rounds it out.
Mm-hmm. 10
Like
drops.
it.
17
And
units.
we are up another $20 donation up to $235.
Excellent.
Nice.
Love it. All right, and now over to. so this is going to be another one of those favorite list name and,
So it's
and unit name
That's
shout outs.
great.
Elliot's Disciples of the Crust, which are 2 Gur Panther troops, the delivery in under 30 minutes, and your pizza is free. You got some Ogre Palace Guard, 3 hordes of them, the pie, the slice, the bite. Amen. 2 regiments of Elohi. I don't even know what that says.
Quattro from Angel.
Quattro from Angel instead of Quattro from Agio.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
And then Elohi Awain. I don't get it.
Hello Hawaiian.
Okay.
Oh. Okay.
These are the puns, people.
These are
Yeah. We have a priest, which is Kyle the Chronicler of the Legend, who has Bane Chant 2 and a Conjurer Staff. And then we have Neas Solicitus, or Neas Salamitis, and then Julius Dragon of Heaven, aka the Big Cheese.
All right.
Nice.
10 drops,
Just
17 unit
solid.
strength.
Elliot never lets us down for amazing names.
Yep.
When you want to
So
play
they
ogre,
are
but holy.
right.
Yep.
Yeah, true. Yeah, so that's 10. They're both 10 drops and 17 unit strength,
Mhm.
which is interesting.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, I don't know. They both kind of want to get in there and grind.
Yeah. I like this Basileia list. I think that it has the grinding ability, but also the range with the Elohi and with Julius to really get into the backfield.
Mhm.
That soul snare is wonderful, but it needs something to kind of guard it, and I think that he has enough tools in there to get at it. And the Basileia list has better names, so which clearly gives it a competitive edge.
Yeah, I think.
really.
Go ahead. Okay, I was gonna say. I think I got to vote for Elliot's because his is practically an ogre list.
Yeah,
True.
Yeah. That was pretty much exactly what I was going to say. It's practically an ogre list with just heal and some flying bros. So
Right.
yeah, we'll go with Elliot.
And some fast chaff, which might as well be red goblins.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I just really want a mummy list to work, so I'm going with Empire of Dust. I love
right.
the idea of building around mummies. But yeah, that speed's going to hurt.
Fair. What do you think, Keith?
Stupid game.
I'm going to go with the ogres. The Basileans, because their ogres are dressed fancier, and the Empire of Dust list, I just want to see them lose because they're such a good army.
All right. So that is not quite a clean sweep. That's okay. And that's going to bring us to table 9. For those of you just joining us, the link scrolling across the bottom are the 2 places where you can donate. And for the duration of this broadcast, Dash28 will be matching any and all donations. And currently we are up to a total of $235 that we're going to be matching.
$235.
Yep.
Crazy.
All right. And so back over to table 9. This is sort of our midpoint. And we're going to have on table 9 Luis Serra versus Jerry Page. So let's take a look at, I think I got Luis's list. So he's playing Undead as per usual.
I will be
he's-
right back, guys.
Okay. No problem. So probably got a work call coming in. As it is still technically work hours.
Yeah.
For some of us.
Some of us. He's got a troop of he's got a troop of skeleton warriors. He's got a regiment of Soul Reaver Cav naked. He's got a horde of werewolves naked. 2 hordes of zombie trolls. Love that. Vampire on Undead Pegasus with Staying Stone. Goodbye for that unit. Necromancer with the Vicious Aura for zombies. Not mounted, sorry. With Heal 3 and Inspiring Talisman. And an Undead Army Standard Bearer with the Loot mounted for a little bit of mobile Bane chant. And then he's got some Forces of the Abyss allies. He's got 2 regiments of Flame Bearers and a regiment of Tortured Souls for a little bit of fast flying thick chaff.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I
11
played him
drops
in
and 20.
Yeah, I played him in Call to Arms, and he brought the Warlock that goes around the Flame Bearers, and what a great! That's right up there with Mike's Doppelgangers and Shade.
It's
2 regiments of Flame Bearers and a Warlock.
Evil ally contingent
Because
it's what the Warlock and 2 Flame Bearers is what like 400 points.
$255. We are up to $255 of donations.
Fantastic. Love it. Thanks, guys. Okay, and
I do
Jesse,
want to say that the person who donated, Eric, sent them in $20 increments with the Slice the Bite. Oh, hold on. More donations coming. In those donations. We also received another $20 donation. We are up to $275.
Fantastic.
It's awesome.
All right, and Jesse, you get the slightly difficult to read Jerry Page Empire Dust List.
All right, so we've got I'm going to try and read it in order that it would appear in Easy Army. So we've got 4 regiments of skeleton warriors. 3 of them have Casket of the Damned as an upgrade. Next up, we've got Enslaved Guardian Archers ×3. Do we have any items? I do not believe so. 2 Undead Worms.
Flying worms. He did put fly in the description.
Oh, okay, yeah. 2 Undead Flying Worms. And then we've got a Monolith and a Cursed High Priest with Surge 8 and the Scrying Gem.
Where's Shobek? Where is he?
I'm not sure. He's missing from that one.
Holy moly. First Monolith, though. But no Soul Snare and no Shobek.
He's only got one of the big 3.
Two flying worms instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting one.
Go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say I got to go with Luis because he plays Undead all the time, and he's really good with it, and he knows exactly what to do with that list, and I think his Abyssal allies add something that Undead really don't have, which is a fast, sturdy, inexpensive flyer and some shooting. And I think those are very well-chosen allies that are going to help a lot, because looking at this Empire Dust list, I see a whole lot of defense 4. So yeah, I think I got to go with Luis.
I'm gonna echo you on that. I played him in Call to Arms, and he's a wonderful general, and those allies are gonna pay dividends for him. I feel like the Enslaved Guardian Archers, they'll do work the first turn or 2, but there's enough in Luis's list, and there's enough terrain on the board in this particular matchup that he'll be able to mitigate that with some good deployment. It'll be a great game, and I think it'll be close, but I'm going to give the edge to Luis as well.
Yeah, I'll go with Luis for all the reasons listed above. I like Jerry's list. It's just, you get to where you can go punch as a slave guardian archers, and then their defense 4, crushing 1, hitting on 4s. So they're not. They're just not. They're pretty average in combat. So yeah, going with Luis.
I think I might go. I think I'm going to go with the. I'll go with Empire here, just on the basis that if he does get a couple good rounds of shooting, he could take off 1 or 2 of those hammers pretty easily. And at that point, those undead worms are going to be very hard to shift.
Mm-hmm. They're flying anvils. They're wonderful.
They are flying anvils. Yeah, you can just hold that up. So yeah, I'll go with the Empire list here.
Fair. Perfectly fair. All right, so that's another 3-1, and that is going to bring us to table 10. And on table 10, we're going to have Ed Herzig versus Mike Smith.
This is another great list name.
This is, yeah. So before we get into it, this is definitely going to get another, favorite list name shout out for Ed's Dick Punch with a Sharp Stick. Since he's basically like reskinned his Forces of Nature list as ogres, which is delightful.
So good.
And he may or may not have more phalanx units than anybody else here, depending on how he deploys, because he's got that aura. So he might have 0, or he might have like 7. It's hard to say. Anyway, go ahead, Keith.
All right, we have. Because it is Ed, and because it is Forces of Nature, we're starting with 2 regiments and 3 hordes of forest ogres. You may call them forest shamblers, but actually they're ogres. There is a Beast of Nature, the large vicious ogre pet, and it comes stock with wings and 7 attacks. We have 2 Pegasi. We'll go with Pegasi. A small cute ogre pet, and also a small cute ogre pet. We have the Tree Herder, which can be more accurately described as... Oh, hold on. We just have another $20 donation in, so let me type that into the chat. Nice. But another $20, so we're up to something. Random numbers. A mammoth-sized forest ogre, which is also the Wilt Father. So why not? The Avatar of the Green Lady, the Forest Ogre Support Gal, and Kapoka the Hidden Savior, also known as the Forest Ogre Support Guy. Coming in at a unit strength total of 17 with 11 drops.
Nice. All right.
$295.
$295, nice. And Mike Smith's Pizza Party also went all out with the unit name, so we got to throw that out as well.
Oh, he did. These ones were really good.
Yep. And I think that's...
Yeah. It's Mike Smith's bringing Kingdoms of Men. We got 2 Polearms blocks. The first one is called Butts Favored, and Express Chosen Men. We've got the Dominoes, which is a Spear Phalanx with Undoubtable Will and upgrade to Pikes. We've got Knights of the Stuffed Crust, which is a Knight Regiment with Indomitable Will. We've got 2 Mammoths. We got Hamath and Mammovies and Anchovies. We've got a General named Guy Fieri and Mounted Little Horse. And then we've got Old Papa John, which is an Army Standard Bearer. And then we've got Fiorentina, which is a wizard on a Pegasus with a boomstick. And then we have a horde of ogres, the Deep Dish Destroyers, and a mammoth, Fruity the Mammoth, for a total of 11 unit strength, or 11 drops with 20 unit strength.
So with the special character mammoth, that's going to be a 4 mammoth list.
Yeah, that's 4 mammoths.
It's a little disappointing. It's only 4 mammoths. I feel like you should have tried to work in another.
An all phalanx list to start.
Yeah. This is wonderful.
Yeah, this is great.
I love it.
Well, they're both technically ogre lists, so I don't know who to vote for.
Yeah.
It's a draw.
It's a draw.
It's a draw.
Moving on. To forget what you've seen, the armies and everything. These are both ogre lists. So, gosh, I'm gonna go with Ed. Great opponent, fantastic person to play against. He only has a couple hundred reps with Forces of Nature and Forest Shamblers. So
About 400 or so.
Yeah, about 400. Anytime you bring a small, cute ogre pet, you're guaranteed the W. So I'm going to go with him.
Yeah, I'm also going to pick Ed for all the reasons above. And he's got all the phalanx and some heal to kind of grind a little bit better. And, Wilt Daddy because Wilt Daddy's a beat stick.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll go with Ed.
Yeah, I love the Mammoth list, but it's just too much phalanx for me in that first round match, so I'm going to have to go with Ed as well.
All right. So everybody's going with Ed. I am going to go ahead and go the other way and say 4 mammoths cannot lose in this event.
Yeah, point there.
And so I'm going to vote. I'm going to vote for Mike, and that is going to bring us to table 11. And on table 11, we're going to have. This is going to be fun. Kyle Peach versus Cy Brand. Let me see if I made any notes on either of these lists. I don't think so. Nope. Okay. So let's just check out their list. So back around to me, I've got Kyle's, and he's going to be playing his usual Varinger, and he's going to start out with 2 regiments of Huskarls, 2 regiments of Mounted Sons, both with the Brutal upgrade. 1, 2, 3, 4 regiments of Snow Foxes for all the chaff you'll ever need.
Mm-hmm.
2 Lords on Frostfangs, both with Snow Foxes, and 1 also with the Blade of Slashing. And Magnild for 11 drops and 18 unit strength. 11 drops, it's a very high drop Varangar list there. 11.
Yeah.
It's all the Snow Foxes. Adding all that padding.
2,300.
Yeah, you just see 11 drop Varangar list at 2,300 points.
At 2,300 points, yeah. All right, and over to Cy playing his rats.
Yeah, so he's got starting out a horde of warriors with plague pots, then 2 regiments of shock troops, both with plague pots, a regiment of hack paws with potion of the caterpillar, a horde of nightmares with blessings of the gods, because that's what you have to put on them, a regiment of vermintide, a regiment of tunnel runners with brew of sharpness, a weapons team, a broodmother with the blightstaff upgrade, a swarm crier with the Zephyr crown, 2 brute enforcers, and the tangle to round it out, coming in at 13 units and 22 unit strength. It's a very solid Ratkin list.
Yeah, actually, I got a game against Cy today, and he played this list, and it's really good. I mean, it's really resilient. He's played rats forever.
Yeah,
it's got a ton of reps in with them. Got some shooting. Got some. You just think you think you can pick up those, especially the regiments of shock troops, but then when they have all the rally behind them, they're 15, 17, and they get. They have plague pot, so they could be in snare and stealthy when they need to be. So yeah, I really like Cy's list. I'm gonna go with him.
Yeah, I'll probably end up doing the same. Just it's such a well-balanced list and has answers to most situations. But I'm gonna go with the rats for this one.
Yeah, I think I gotta go with Cy as well. Kyle usually plays Varinger and he's really good with them, but I've also played against Cy's rats and he is really good with them. And I do like this, like a good solid toolbox Ratkin list. It's got a little bit of everything, and he knows exactly what to do with every piece. So I think this will be a good game, and they're gonna have a lot of fun because they're both fun guys to play. But I think Cy's probably gonna in push. I think Cy's got an edge here. Keith, would you like to weigh in on the lists you didn't get to hear?
Sure. I think that Cy is a better name than Kyle. Kyle tries to be like the name Keith, but falls short. So we're going to go with Cy on this one, purely
All right.
based on that. That's what matters most.
Perfect. Clean
Keith
sweep.
Randall would agree with me on that, so that's a good one. Also, while I was away, we got another $50 donation.
All right.
So we're up to $345.
Fantastic.
Can't get a second beer without more donations coming in.
Love it.
Cheers anyway.
Gotta
Love
keep
it.
getting beer
All right.
then. Let's just keep
All
coming
right.
in.
That is that's a clean sweep for Cy based on highly
Dangerous.
scientific deductive
Yeah.
reasoning.
Based on excellent analysis.
Based on expert analysis there.
Oh, sorry. We just received another $20 from Ed Herzig. Everyone I voted for has been donating. So the fix is in, folks. So now we're in 365.
Fantastic. All right.
Well done.
So let's try to pick up the pace here. This is getting painful. Table 12. No, I'm just kidding. Table 12, we're going to see Acer Lopez versus Justin Gisby Clark. All right. And let's check out Acer's list.
Those are a lot of thick boys.
Oh, whoops.
It's a lot. It's a lot of thick boys.
That is actually he has. That's not the right one. Actually, he gets. I clicked on the wrong superlative. He actually gets this one because this is the highest drop list in the tournament, coming in at 15 drops, which is more than anybody else brought. So, Keith, you want to do the dwarves?
Yes, absolutely. Sorry. This is who?
Acers?
ACR.
Okay, so we are starting with, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 regiments of ironclad. We have a horde of shield breakers with a throwing mastiff, because take those mastiffs and throw them. The visualization is just better when you imagine dwarves like actually throwing them as opposed to letting them loose. 2 regiments of throwing mastiffs with mastiff hunting packs with throwing mastiffs, 2 iron belcher organ guns, a dwarf lord with the wings of honey maze, a dwarf army standard bearer with the loot of insatiable darkness, a steel juggernaut, another steel juggernaut, a flame priest, and then $1,000 donation that we just got in, which is why I had to stop for a moment.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Shit.
So
Love it.
anonymous donor for now.
You can give me their name later so I can have a word with them.
Absolutely. They did say you certainly don't have to match it if you do not want to. But
Yeah, the gauntlet was thrown, man.
yeah, and something about dwarfs. And this person is a dwarf player, so I'm sure that he would be honored to know that I stumbled all over this matchup reading, having seen that. Flame Priests are great. I really appreciate that he's taking this. And yeah, go ahead to the next list.
All right. So over to Justin. Leo Verdia.
Okay, so Justin is bringing a horde of spear phalanx, upgrading to pikes with brewer strength and indomitable will. A horde of foot guard with indomitable will and the 2-handed upgrade, so lowering the defense of 4, getting crushing strength 1. 2 troops of mounted scouts, as you do. 2 hordes of honor guard, both with indomitable will. We've got 2 volley guns and a baron, 1 a horse because he's really good. We've got a wizard with Heal 3 and Shroud of the Saint, and then we got an Inspiring Wizard with Bane Chant and Lightning Bolt 3, and the Battle Shrine, because what is a leader warrior list without Battle Shrine? For 12 drops at 17 unit strength.
It's a lot of shots from the dwarf side. There's 64 dogs.
Yeah.
That's the closest we have to a shooting list, I think, in the tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Granted, they're one use only, but yeah, that's a lot.
Oh yeah,
of dogs.
no, absolutely. It's not a complete skew by any means, but I mean, there's also the juggernauts and there were cannons too, right?
Yeah,
There were
they're
organ
volley
guns.
I really like the dwarf list.
Yeah, the organ gun. Yeah, it's a solid list.
He's got a flying lord just to go deal with any random problems that pop up. He's got 2 steel jugs. He's got just so much infantry that he can checkerboard them
Yeah, a lot of
while he
things.
shoots you to death.
That
He doesn't
being
have
said,
a huge amount of punch in melee, but like he'll definitely shoot you to death and just not die.
yeah, that's what dwarves do. That being said, I do really like Justin's list. It's
Mhm,
the typical Liga Rodia cheese,
mhm.
Also with 2 volley guns.
also with 2 belly guns and a bunch of lightning bolt and some things that just don't die, like the pike phalanx and foot guard, and then honor guard goes around and punches, as Jesse would say, dick punches stuff.
Yes. If only there was another list on here that was specifically intended to punch dicks.
Yeah.
Poor Ed. Somebody else took that from him.
Yeah. As much as I like the dwarf list, I'm going to go with Justin.
Anytime you have throwing mastiffs, you got to go with that. So I'm gonna go with the dwarf list. Yeah, dogs throwing dogs. Packs of dogs that are also releasing smaller dogs from inside that pack of dogs. You got to go with them. So I'm gonna go with the dwarfs on that.
This is a tough one. This is a puppy mill coming at you.
This is just going to be a shelling because you've got organ guns on both sides. You got lightning bolts on one side. You got mammoths on the other. You got, I don't know, and both like heavily armored, very resilient troops on both sides.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, the only thing I worry about is the spear phalanx are defense 4. He's got a couple defense 4 lists. Spear phalanx are going to get shot apart.
Yeah.
But he's got 2 hordes of honor guard, which are faster than anything on the dwarf
like,
side, except for the
once he
flying
hits,
lord.
I think I'm going to have to go with League here. The shooting, I don't know if the shooting spike. You know what? This one's going to be a draw for me. I can't decide on this one.
Fair.
I don't think it's a lot of these things.
Flip a coin.
Calling it a draw. That's legit. I think I'm going to go with Justin because I think the honor guard might have a good enough day that he's going to pick up a couple of. He's going to be able to chew through the infantry regiments enough. Whereas on the dwarf side, he's going to have to shoot at those hordes for a few turns to get rid of them. He's got enough shooting and enough punch with those guys that he can soften them up and pick up units in turn. And I think the honor guard are the difference, the big difference I see between the 2 lists. Yeah, so I'm going to go with Justin. And so that brings us to 2 for Justin, 1 for Aesir, and one calling it a draw. And now we're going to move on to table 13. So just a few tables left. And on table 13, we're going to have John McCready versus Tom Robinson.
Oh, what a great game this is going to be. Clash of the Titans.
Yeah, really. The sweaty peasants. I love it. Is this background to me? This is background to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. So John is playing Kingdoms of Men, and he has 2 regiments of spear phalanx and 2 hordes of spear phalanx. For all the phalanx you're going to want. I think, did he get the...
They're all in snare.
Yeah, they're all in snare.
They're all in snare and phalanx. I don't think I made I forgot to make like a pointiest boys.
Oh, wait, breaking news, guys. Breaking news. Kim Kardashian files for divorce from Kanye West. Okay, back to
great.
Okay.
I thought you were about to say like another $1,000 donation. Yeah. I was like, hold on. What? Say what?
I have to troll my own cast. That's how it goes.
There you go. Okay. So 2 regiments of spear phalanx, 2 hordes of spear phalanx, all of which have ensnare. 2 cannons, a giant, because you got to have a sweaty giant. 2 generals on winged beast, 1 with potion of the caterpillar, 1 wizard mounted on a Pegasus with lightning bolt, and the Capitan coming in at 11 total drops and 18 total unit strength. All right.
The OCD in me really wants that second Indomitable Will. Just find 10 points. Come on.
Oh, yeah. Only one of the hordes has Indomitable Will. You're right. Interesting. And Tom Robinson's list, not playing League of Rodia.
Yeah, so we got a Forces of the Abyss army coming up. Starting out, we've got 2 regiments of succubi. No items there. We've got a troop of gargoyles, 2 hordes of Molochs, one with bladed slashing, one with mace of crushing, 2 abyssal fiends, 2 seductress, one with boots of 7 leagues, and one of blade of the beast slayer. And then finishing up, we've got the manifestation of Baal with a total of 10 units and 16 unit strength.
I'm just disappointed. Tom Robinson did not bring Surge 44.
Yeah.
Or around that.
The
Just
seduct-
let
the
us
seductress
down.
with Scout is cute. I like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He used to run like a dragon with Scout, right? Then he'd scout the dragon up and then end up behind people's lines, I think, back in the day. I remember hearing that on the podcast. This is going to be this is going to be right up there with like the Alex game that's going to be happening tonight. Just 2 great generals with great armies.
Yeah.
Wow, what a good game this is going to be.
Mhm. Yeah, John's
Yeah.
another one of our Canadian heavy hitters.
Yeah, I'm disappointed in him too, though, because when I played him, he had no less than 3 archer hordes. My
Oh, he
poor
sent me a
horde
photo.
just got shot up so bad.
Yeah.
A la Adam Ballard would do. So the fact that he's taking something that's not that, I feel a little slighted. I'm gonna have to vote against him. I'm gonna go with Tom Robinson purely based on spite and hatred, which is how you should align your votes.
There's so
Right.
much snare between these 2 armies.
Yeah. Yeah, there is.
There's a lot of ensnare. I mean, with the
Yeah.
there's a lot of ensnare.
It's just
And Tom has the tools to go punch the cannons.
yeah.
I
You
think
got the 2 seductresses. Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'm gonna give it to Tom.
I really like that Kingdoms of Men list, but I feel like I got to vote for Tom because I feel like not voting for Tom Robinson is usually a mistake.
Right.
Even though I don't know how many reps he has with this list, I look at it as like, yeah, I understand how this works. I can see how this is going to do what it does. I look at John's list and I'm like, yep, it's going to take Tom a long time to chew through all of it, but he
Right.
probably will because the seductresses are going to punch the cannons out. And then it's a slog.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna have to do the old bias and go with John on this one.
that's
See
fine.
what
I go with that. Feel advantage.
Mhm.
Totally. That is totally fair. No clean sweeps. It's always more interesting when it's not a clean sweep. All right. So it's going to be 3 for Tom, 1 for John. And that will take us down to table 14. And table 14 is the mystery guest. So that's going to be Eric Ruttons versus someone who registered on Tabletop TO as the Tipsy Dragon. And try as we might, we haven't been able to figure out who that actually is.
Nope.
And no one submitted a list with that name, and there's no spare lists that anyone has
No.
put in under that name. So we don't know who that is. So if
Ask your
that
clubmates, ask your
Right.
local dragons.
if
Who
that
are you?
person if that person materializes tomorrow morning and shows up with a list, then I guess they're playing Eric. And if not, then Eric will be playing against the rigger list. This is one of those Schrodinger's cat things. Tune in tomorrow morning and find out.
Yeah, don't drink and register, everybody.
Right.
Don't, if you're drinking and you feel tempted to register for an event, don't do it.
Use a recognizable name, please, or at least a consistent name across all services. For the love of God, I beg you. All right. So Eric's list. That's I think we're over to Keith.
Over to me. We have a troop of berserkers with the meat of madness, because why stop at wild charge D3 when you can have D3 plus 1? We have 4 troops of Free Dwarf Brock Riders, 3 regiments of Free Dwarf Brock Riders with the Brew of Strength, the Brew of Sharpness, and the Pipes of Terror, because something about hitting like a brick shithouse. We have 2 Berserker Lords. One comes with the Blade of the Beast Slayer and one with the Mournful Blade, because naming swords is cool. You always have to do that when granted the opportunity. And then we have Severi Galax on Hellbrock with the Wild Charge +1 aura. And that comes at a grand total of 15 unit strength, 11 drops.
This is the
I feel
second
like I've seen this
very,
list
very
before.
Brock Rider heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's going to be fun when those two lists play each other in round
Oh,
two.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those
We're gonna
Black Riders
focus.
are going to be fast as shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very fast. And apparently, if you give them all Strider, they become very powerful.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? If only there
Yeah.
was some method to our madness. Just madness, folks. That's all we got.
All right, and now Steve, you've got the herd ringer list.
All right, so this is the ringer list. You very well might be playing me running this list. We'll see. So we've got 2 hordes of tribal spears, one with brew sharpness, one with brew strength. We've got a horde of spirit walkers with a brew haste, 2 troops of harpies, 2 regiments of centaur bray hunters, a beast of nature with wings and increased attacks. We've got a centaur chief with the blade of slashing and a druid with shroud of the saint and bane chant 2. 1 burst steed for a total of 10 drops and 19 unit strength.
So the way you determine who wrote the herd list is if the Spirit Walker horde has Nimble on it, it's John Quayle. If it has Haste on it, it's me. So
Well, I was tipped off because of the tribal spear horde with brew sharpness, because I know that's a Keith Conroy tech.
that's the one. Stolen from Greg Person, but we don't have to give him credit because he doesn't have Facebook.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Well,
Pretty good herd list.
Yeah. All right, there's some phalanx for those Brock Riders to be hitting on 5s against.
Mm-hmm. The Brock Ladder, it's just a wonderful list. And I feel like it has better token carriers because this herd list, for whatever reason, doesn't have Moon Pie in it, doesn't have a dedicated token holder. It just wants to grind, and it doesn't grind very well. So I will probably also go with the Dwarf list on this one, just because it outranges very well.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the dwarf list too, because I know the pilot of this list is probably going to be very inept at driving it, at least in the first round.
Sure. What do you think, Jesse?
I'm going to go with the Brock list as well.
Okay. And me too, because never vote for the ringer. What's the fun in that? All right. So that's a clean sweep, but it's a clean sweep against the ringer, or perhaps question mark? We'll find out. So that's going to bring us to table 15. On table 15, we are going to have James Mitchell versus Koke. So let's check out those lists. Anything about James's list I was supposed to remember? No. Our only elf list.
Oh, poor Keith Randall. Only one elf list.
And I think that pops back around to me. So, James Mitchell's elves. He's got a horde of Kindred Tall Spears with the Hammer of Measured Force. He's got a horde of Palace Guard with the Chalice of Wrath.
Mm-hmm.
A regiment of Stormwind Cavalry with Sir Jesse's Boots of Striding. 2 troops of Silver Breeze Cavalry. A horde of Drakon Riders. A mounted Elven King with the Saber-Tooth Hunting Cat. Another Elven King just on foot, looks like. And then 2 Archmages, with one with a Boomstick and Lightning Bolt 5, and the other one with Inspiring Talisman, Bane Chant, and Lightning Bolt 5. And then that will pop us around to Koke's list. And one thing I will say about Koke's list is he gets the I can do this all day superlative for having more heal than anyone else in the tournament.
That's a great superlative. Bravo for coming up with these names.
Thank you. And that's over to Jesse.
This is a very good list. So we've got Night Stalkers, which Koke is very familiar with. Starting off, we've got a regiment of Scarecrows with the Scrying Gem. We've got 3 hordes of Butchers, one with Brew of Sharpness, one with Potion of the Caterpillar, and one with Mace of Crushing. 2 Mind Screeches for that ranged threat. 2 Planar Apparitions, just to make that Butcher block a unmovable rock, a Butcher Flesh Ripper, and we've got Forces of the Abyss allies with a troop of flame bears and a regiment of flame bears for those tasty shots. So coming in at 11 units with a total unit strength of 19.
Flame bearers are just great allies.
Yeah.
It's hard to vote against the list that has them.
Just
Has them
such
in
a
it.
dick punch.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and
I
kind of
hate to-
speaks to how bad specters are. That like you're gonna go and take Forces of the Abyss
Right.
allies over taking specters because specters are terrible.
I almost hate to make the easy pun, but they're so hot right now.
Yeah.
Well played.
In fact, I think, let me see, of the 4 allies that were taken, 2 of them were abyssals, and I think they were basically taken so they could take flame bearers.
Oh yeah,
It's Lewis.
it's going to
It's
be such
Lewis
a
and
common
Coque.
thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It just makes sense.
Give me some flame
Yeah.
bearers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I-
at 2,300. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, I just I think
Great
that
comment.
I'm gonna go with the Night Stalker list because goddamn, that can grind.
Oh yeah,
It'll grind. It has the best token carriers and planar apparitions.
Yeah,
Those are the best
great.
ever. And
Mhm.
it's a very strong, very disgusting list. So I'm going with
yeah.
Coque.
Yeah,
Anyone want to share out Alex's comment that he just posted?
that every time someone takes the ahead of the curve. Yeah, no, this one can just shoot you while grinding too. I'm gonna have to go with the Night Stalkers here. It's good.
It's really good.
Gonna go with Coque as well, Keith?
Yeah. It's a wonderful list, and every time that somebody takes the Hammer of Measured Force, Elliot Morris somewhere is crying.
So I think I got to go with Coque as well because I do like the elf list. It's a good elf list. It's a really good elf list, but this is a really good Night Stalker list.
Yeah,
Yes.
And it's got really good allies too. So
yeah.
I think it'll be a good game. But like Cook is a good player, and this is a solid list. So I think he's going to edge it out, and that's going to be a clean sweep. So we will see if we were right about that or not. We're either all right or we're all wrong, or it's a draw and we're still all wrong. So that's going to bring us to table 16. And that is going to be Jeff Horton versus Andy Slack. And there's Jeff's list. Okay, and we're over to Keith.
All right, so we have, brace yourselves, everybody, sweaty ogres. We have 2 troops of Red Goblin Scouts. We have a legion of warrior chariots with a brew of haste, which bumps them up to speed 9, which I love that item on them. 2 hordes of boomers, a horde of siege breakers with a staying stone, the best 5 points you can spend in the ogre army that's not a crocodile. 2 ogre warlocks, one with the boomstick and one with Drain Life 5. We have an ogre warlord, which is the second time that I've seen it, but now that I look at it, 15-17 nerve for 155 points.
Yeah,
That's pretty
great.
awesome. Comes on a chariot. And then Namagrok, wow. Why not?
Yeah, I don't know why he was making all these lists. Doesn't
Yeah.
make sense.
He's just pulling double duty. He's like Chris Pratt. He's just in everything now, you know? Why not?
Guys everywhere.
He's everywhere.
All right, and Andy's bringing a Brotherhood Order of the Green Lady list.
All right, so he's got a regiment of men-at-arm retainers, a regiment of the Order of the Brotherhood with the Staying Stone, and they gave it the Banner of the Green Lady for some Pathfinder, Order of the Redemption, a regiment with British Strength, as you do, 2 hordes of the Water Elementals, a Beast of Nature with fly and 7 attacks, and then 2 Pegasi. And then a druid with the Conjure Staff and Bane Chant 2, mounted on a Forest Steed. And then a unicorn, one of which has the boomstick. And they both replace heal with Lightning Bolt 5. So for a total of 11 drops and 18 unit strength.
Well, I really, really like this Order of the Green Lady list because I've been thinking about
solid.
maybe doing Order of the Green Lady, but I've already said that I'm going to vote for all the ogre lists, so I'm going to vote for Jeff.
I want to say, I think this is the only time you're ever going to see a Legion of Chariots without boots or Potion of the Caterpillar.
Yeah. Or
Yeah, this is a truly historic moment.
Well, because it's going to have a mammoth behind it, giving it
Yeah, exactly.
a strider.
They have that already.
yeah, so that thing. Yeah. I really like the Order of the Green Lady list too.
I'm going to have to go with the Green Lady list. I feel like the variety is really going to serve it well, and those water elementals are just great units. Between the regen and a little bit of heal backed up on that, those things are going to be great token carriers compared to the ogre list that may struggle with that a little bit, finding good units to carry the tokens.
I'm going to go with the Ogre list to balance it out because I want to see that Legion just punch a hole right down the middle of the table.
Cool. And Steve, were you going with the
Yeah,
Green Lady
Green
list?
Lady.
All right. So that is 2 and 2. And that is going to bring us to table 17, our penultimate table. And on table 17, we're going to have Max Bennett versus Don Croce. And that is back up to me. And here we go. Once again, gotta throw out favorite list name there. Greatest ogre player in the world. This is not the greatest ogre player in the world. This is just a tribute.
Just a tribute.
So here we have a regiment of Red Goblin rabble and an entire legion of Red Goblin rabble. I don't know that I've ever seen anybody take a legion of Red Goblin rabble before. That's fun. A troop of Red Goblin scouts. 2 regiments of warrior chariots, 1 with dwarven ale. 3 hordes of siege breakers, just as they come. A sergeant mounted on a chariot. And Nom Nom, because once again, we have 7 ogre lists, and I think all 7 of them might have Nom Nom in it.
Yep.
So that's 10 drops and 22 unit strength, coming in a little on the high side of the unit strength, but about average for drops. And then over to Donnie's list.
Okay, so we've got Basilians. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 regiments of Paladin Foot Guard. All of them with the Aegis Fragment upgrade, and one of them getting the Elite Aura. We've got 2 hordes of Ogre Taliskar with the Waiver Mitigation with Chalice of Wrath and Dwarven Ale. A Bear of the Holy Icon with Warbow of Kaba. A Priest with the Conjurer Staff, Bane Champ 2. And then some Macros, rounding out for 11 units and a total unit strength of 25.
Wow.
Yep. So that is our top unit strength list. So this list is kind of a big deal.
Big deal. I like this Basileia list.
Yeah.
I wish that he had a second source of Bane Chant. That Bear of the Holy Icon, just having it doesn't really contribute much besides just kind of giving. It's inspiring. Yeah, I don't know where he could find 20 points, but man, having a second source of Bane Chant is going to really help in those grinds. Did the regiments? They didn't have 2-handed weapons, right? They're
all.
Yep.
Yeah, I like this list a lot. I really, really wish that he had another source of Bane Chant in it.
Yeah, the Basileia list just built for scenario play.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Basileia.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the Ogre list here. I think the Alpha is going to be able to pick up a couple of those regiments, and the grind's going to favor the CS on the Ogres.
Cool.
I'm going to go with the Ogres too.
The ogres. Sweet. I am also going to go with the ogres because, again, I'm voting for every ogre list.
Consistency. I like the Basileia list a lot, but I think this particular one, it's It's gonna be
I
a
do
little
too.
tough for him.
Yeah, I played Don Last Called Arms, and he played something similar than this. So like this is kind of his standard Basilean list, and I do like it a lot. I think it's a really good list. But
Defenders are great units.
yeah, but again, I got to vote for all the others. Oh, did I miscount? I think I did. So coming up next, we have table 18. This is our penultimate table. One day I'll learn how vocabulary works. And on table 18, we're going to have Richard Laking versus Ray Wyant.
All right, I'll pull up Richard's list. Here we go. The Sweaty Gigante Ogres. Stop me if you've heard this before. There is a regiment of warrior chariots with the Sir Jesse's boots of striding, a horde of boomers with fire oil, a regiment of hunters, 2 regiments of berserker braves, 2 hordes of siege breakers, one with a chalice of wrath and one with a staying stone, an ogre warlock with inspiring talisman and drain life, army standard bearer with loot of insatiable darkness, an ogre warlord mounted on a chariot with blade of slashing, and that's it.
No nom nom.
No,
What?
nom nom. What?
Hot
Richard
take.
missed the memo.
Yeah.
That might be the only one.
He's going to get kicked out of the ogre forums. He's got to be careful.
I know.
Jeez.
All
I
right.
got my boy Ray Wyant. He's got 3 regiments of zombies. He's got 2 hordes of revenants, 2 troops of wraiths, a regiment of Soul Reaver cavalry with Chalice of Wrath, a horde of whites with Sir Jesse's boots of striding, a vampire on undead Pegasus, and then we've got a necromancer with bait enchant 2 and inspiring, and then a undead army standard bearer with the tome of darkness mounted on a horse for 23 unit strength and 12 drops.
It's a solid undead list.
Yeah.
It is.
He plays it really well, too.
Yeah, Ray's a really great player, and undead's his jam.
Yeah. I love Revenants so much. 2 hordes is just incredible.
They'll never die.
Oh,
They're
my favorite unit.
205 points.
For something that never dies.
2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jesse, you would never do something like this, right? Take
I
a couple hordes.
don't run 4 hordes.
Just 3. It's fine.
Yeah, just 3. With sharp
I'm-
and
Yep.
And
I'm
since
going to go with Ray on this one just for that reason. It's undead, so it's going to win. And the fact he's played it, and he's got a really good variety of units that can do a little bit of everything. And those revenants are perfect for this scenario.
yeah, I'm also going for Ray for all those reasons, and he's a Mid-Atlantic, Pennsylvania guy, so going for Ray.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the undead as well. I love this list.
So I said I was going to vote for all the ogre lists.
Yeah.
But this one ticks like literally every checkbox on the other side of the scale. Like it's undead. It's Ray who's in my region and plays undead really well. I know the guy and he plays them wonderfully.
Great guy.
I really
Also-
like this list. I think this is a really good list at this point level.
Yeah.
He's made some really good choices in 3 regiments of zombies and 2 hordes of revenants. That it's going to be tough to beat him in just about any scenario with that much unit strength that will stick around. But I did say I was going to vote for all the ogres, so I'm still going to vote for Richard then because I said I was going to vote for all the ogres. So there we go. I'm a man of my word.
That he forgives you.
Right. Oh, hold on. Of course, that's a good enough excuse. Not enough zombies.
Yeah.
Needs
Oh,
more
it's
zombies.
Alex. I'm surprised it's not
For,
enough.
for those of you that don't know, Ray was the guy at Best of the Rest of the Masters that took all the it was like 30 regiments of zombies or something like that.
Yeah, it was just all zombies. Just an
Weren't they
entire
full
list of
normal
nothing.
count too?
Pretty close.
They were
Yeah, it was.
full.
So that's going to bring us to table 19, and this is our last table, and this is going to be Matt Goody versus Sam Soden. So this ought to be fun. Okay. And that's back up to me, I think, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Matt Goody, anything for his list, or Sam, anything for his list? I think no. Okay, cool. I'll stop mumbling to myself and read the list now. So this is Matt's Abyssal Pizza Oven. So he's got 2 troops of gargoyles, 2 regiments of decimators, a horde of lesser obsidian golems with the Charnox upgrade. 2 hordes of grotesques, one with Chalice of Wrath and one with Staying Stone. Cool. 2 heavy mortars. A slave driver with the Tome of Darkness. A hexcaster with the Inspiring Talisman and Weakness. And a half-breed champion with Blade of Slashing, coming to 12 drops and 17 unit strength.
That's a solid Abyssal Dwarf list.
Very good.
It is.
I
Yep.
hate it.
That's really good at this point level.
Really
Yeah,
good.
those are
Yeah.
excellent
That's
choices.
when you know
there.
it's a good Abyssal Dwarf list. When you look at it, you're like, no.
I hate it.
You're like, that's
I
a
would-
great 2,300 list, and then you realize there's only 1,800.
It's only 1,800.
Right.
Oh, no.
Come on.
So, final list of the day, we got another ogre list to round it out. Starting out, we got 2 hordes of boomers, stock standard, followed by 2 hordes of berserker braves, one with blessing of the gods and one with brew of sharpness. That's terrifying. A mammoth and a giant. This is a great list. 2 warlocks, one with the boomstick, and surprise, surprise, no McGarrock.
Yep.
Coming in at 9 units and 17 unit strength. Is that the
Yep, so
lowest
this-
drop ogre list?
It's
Tied.
tied.
Tied, yeah.
It's the lowest drop ogre list, and it's tied for lowest drops in the tournament with Robert James's Horde of the Brother Mark.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm going to go with Matt on this one. Just the fact that I was listening to that list, I'm like, oh, yeah, that would be great at 2,300 or 2,000. Then you realize it's 1,800. And he brought the 2 good artillery that's in the list, and he's going against ogres, which he'll have line of sight to anything all the time, every time. Yes.
So
Gotta
filthy.
go with that. So filthy. So
So
good.
filthy. But I still got to vote for Sam because I said I was voting for all the ogre lists. So I'm voting for Sam, even though, Sam, I'm sorry, you're going to have a really bad
Yeah.
time.
I'm voting for the ogres just because I hate the Abyssal Dwarf list. It's filthy, it's disgusting, and I hate it. So, I'm voting for ogres.
Yeah, I support the filth. I'm going with the Abyssal Dwarf list.
Yeah.
All right. So that brings us to a nice 2-2 split on our last table. And that is, in fact, our last table. So that's 19 tables worth of goodness there. And this is all kicking off what time tomorrow?
9 a.m. tomorrow.
9 a.m. tomorrow.
9 a.m. tomorrow. Opening announcements will be on Discord in the TO table voice channel, I think.
Yes, players, check your players pack. All that information is located in there, so give it a good read through. Get yourself some beauty sleep, and we will be smashing digital armies across different time zones and having a really good time doing so tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm
You
gonna
guys have any-
I'm gonna turn my matching banner off. What's our final count? What do I owe you?
Our final count for the matchup podcast is $1,366.
All right. Let's see if we can beat that tomorrow. So tomorrow we will be bringing you a second round match, which we will decide on during lunch, whatever we think seems fun. That's going to be at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or add 5 to it for UK time or 6 to it for European time. And then we're going to be bringing you the top table third round match at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. So if you're not playing and you'd like to check some of these games out and make some more donations that we'll have to match, feel free to jump in on those. Or, if you're playing in the tournament, go back and you can always watch them later on our YouTube channel. I will be matching any donations that occur afterwards, but, everybody have fun tomorrow. We'll see everybody bright and early. And just
thank you.
Thanks so much, Keith and Jesse, for putting this together.
Thanks, guys.
This is amazing. We're raising so much money. It's going to be awesome. The community response to this has just been
So and thank you for mentioning that. So everybody, because I've been getting a lot of private messages about this, about what the total is. I've been tight-lipped about it on purpose. It's above 1,366, as you can imagine. So the final grand reveal will be during the closing ceremony. So I will be taking a screenshot and letting everybody know what is the total in my PayPal account and the final numbers that will be distributed to the good animals of West Virginia and to the family of Jesse Cornwell. So keep donating until then. It is a tight race for those top two. Even despite the high donations, people can still get in on it or nominate somebody that they want to have their money go towards. But there will be two very interesting podcasts. Let me tell you now. I'm not going to give everything away, but there's going to be some interesting podcast with results that may surprise you. Click here to find out more. So,
All right. So,
Sorry, just last thing.
Thanks.
If anyone has any questions leading up for the remainder of the evening, just shoot Keith or I a message. I know I've got a couple of people coming in for potential late registration now. So if there's anybody else that wants in, I can still fit you in the last midnight hours leading up to the tournament here, as we just want everyone to have a good time. And we're going to be available tomorrow on the Discord. If you have any rules, questions, etc., just shoot me or Keith a message, and we will take care of all of that. Best of luck to everyone involved, and thank you again to the community for this incredible output of support.
Yeah, just want to say, a special just shout out for all the hard work that Jesse and Keith have done. This has been awesome, and I gonna give a plug for It's Always Sunny in Panathor 2, the Electric Boogaloo, which is going to be coming out. I think the third or fourth weekend in March. So if you played in It's Always Sunny at Panathor, the first one, then we're gonna have round 2. So look out for that, and have fun tomorrow.
awesome. And,
Take care, everybody.
One last parting thought. If you are the Tipsy Dragon, please get in touch with one of the TOs
Please
as soon as possible. Please solve this mystery for us.
Right. If you know somebody in your club who is often tipsy and really likes dragons, please reach out to them to let
us know. Otherwise, so thanks, Steve, for hanging out with us. And again, thanks to Jesse and Keith for putting this together. And thanks to everybody at home for watching. We hope you guys are going to have fun playing this tournament tomorrow. I think it's going to be a really great time. So we will see you guys in round 2 tomorrow. Till next time, you stay safe out there, and we'll see you next time on Dash28 Live. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.